Well, good Monday evening, New York Jets fans and NFL fans. It is November 14th, 2022, 4:58 p.m., and we are about 7 hours away from the end of Week 10 of the NFL, where tonight the Washington Commanders, who are having a lot of issues there, lawsuits against them, the owner and the NFL and the commissioner, um, and the Philadelphia Eagles, the 8-0 Philadelphia Eagles, take on each other in Philly. That will end Week 10. Week 9, actually, I should say Week 10, the Jets had their bye. They are 6-3. And after yesterday's events, they find themselves in second place. And they find themselves ahead of, right now, the Buffalo Bills because they have the tiebreaker. So little things going on since last week. So basically, I did not do a video after last week's instant reaction, rapid reaction, whatever you want to call it. I wanted the whole week to just be settled in. I wanted to have that bye week to kind of take on what was going on and the tremendous win that the Jets had. In that game that the Jets beat the Bills, Josh Allen did hurt his arm, his elbow. There have been reports up and down, and I actually reported I found out that he'd probably miss most of the season, if not the rest of the season. He started yesterday. Rumor is Tommy John surgery, which, if that is the case, it would be the rest of the season, all of next season. Right now, there's no news out about that anymore. That was rumored yesterday morning. He played yesterday in a game for the ages. Minnesota Vikings go to Buffalo. Game is up and down, up and down. Basically, Minnesota cannot get in the end zone late in the game. On 4th and goal, they are stopped at the 1. The ensuing play where the Bills come out, Josh Allen fumbles the snap and is recovered by Minnesota in the end zone. Touchdown, they go up by 3. Buffalo goes down the field in a heartbeat like they're playing children. In the words of my cousin Mike, like they're playing children, and kick a tying field goal. Minnesota wins the kickoff in overtime, wins the coin toss in overtime, takes the kickoff, has a 1st and goal in overtime. They wind up settling for 3, and you figure, okay, here's where Josh Allen's going to come and beat you. But Josh Allen throws a pick in the end zone late in the game, late in overtime, and Minnesota comes out. They're 8-1, drops the Bills to 6-3, and the Jets take over second place. Tua for the Dolphins is 7-0. The Dolphins are 7-3 on the season, so that tells you how much he means to this team, and they are in first place right now. And I'm not going to go into statistics of, with the Jets beating them and whatnot. They have that game at hand, and they have a bye this week, so everything will even out this week. Everything will level out this week. Also, this week you had Jeff Saturday hired by the Indianapolis Colts to take over as a head coach. And he goes out and he beats the Raiders yesterday. So, it's just been a crazy year. So at this point, coming off the bye, I wanted to do my grades. I wanted to review the first half of the season and look to next week. Of course, I'll do my predictions on the Jets' upcoming game. I'm not even going to mention who they're playing because it's just that much of a big game this week. It's probably the biggest game they've played, in years. I don't want to say since last week, because last week was just a must win, and they did win. So, the season didn't start off quite like we thought we would. Zach got hurt, second drive of the first preseason game. We didn't see him until game 4. We lose a game, and I'm not going to say a game that we should have won, but a game that we were in on opening day against the Ravens, and we just let it get away from us. Then, we go to Cleveland in a game that we have to win in the perfect storm, like I've been saying all year. And we score twice and beat the Browns. Come back to play the Cincinnati Bengals, and they just can't compete with the Bengals. And they were in that game. And that's where things started to come to a head. You had the argument on the sideline with Quinnen Williams and the line coach, and then the defensive coordinator comes out and says that Quinnen wasn't in on certain plays because he was gassed, he was catching his breath. You have people talking about Falco and putting in Mike White. I mean, it's just a lot of drama. The Jets then go to Pittsburgh and beat Pittsburgh um, again late in the game, and a place where they never win. You say, all right, and then they come back and they beat Miami, and you're like, okay, and then they go and they beat. Trying to think who else they played. Um, Denver, and then they go and they beat. So let's see. I'm trying to remember who they played, who they beat, who they didn't beat. So they beat the Dolphins, they beat the Bills, they beat Denver, um, they beat Cleveland, and then they beat the Packers. And everybody's starting to believe. And then they have this big matchup with the Pats, and they just, everything flipped from being up 17-3. The game got out of hand. Zach throws terrible interceptions, and if you go on Twitter like I do, if you listen to talk radio, the ups and downs of this season has been ridiculous. I've been saying the last few years, you want meaningful games in November. And to have meaningful games in November, you have to have meaningful games by Halloween. And the Jets did that. But after that loss to New England, you had people calling for the coach to go, Zach to go, the GM to go. Just a lot of, fed up. I won't even mention a name, but a very well-known radio personality went on a spot and said that what would it take for the Jets to go and offer Sean Payton, or how much would it take for Sean Payton to come here next year and coach this team because he's going to go to Dallas because McCarthy's going to get canned. Um, you just have all these ups and downs. Zach is a bust. And listen, as far as Zach, we don't know what he is right now. Is he going to be a game manager? If we think we could win on running the ball and being a game manager and the defense, I'll take it. But he can't be giving up stupid plays, stupid decisions, and interceptions like he did against New England when they met a couple of weeks back. But that's been, how everything is going. Then you have them going into a must-win against Buffalo. A must-win. Because you have New England, Buffalo, a bye, and then the big game next week, and you're like, all right, they got to win at least one out of these two, but if they could take 2 out of 3, and you really felt good going to that New England game. And after they lost that, you just felt so deflated. And like I said, Buffalo fans came out to represent last week, and the Jets went hand in hand, foot to foot. They caused turnovers. They scored when they needed to score. They got to Josh Allen when they needed to get to Josh Allen. They converted when they needed to convert, and they came away with the win. And they find themselves at 6-3. So here we are at the midway point. We're at the bye week, and first I want to go over the offense. Now, what I'm going to do is a little different. I'm going to grade the whole offense, and I'm going to grade the QB. So the entire offense, I give a C+. Reason why it's a C+ is they have not shown me consistently that they could move the ball. Yes, they've had big patches, they've had big plays, but it hasn't been a consistent offense when they come out and say, okay, we need 72 yards, we're going to get 74 yards. We need to go 68 yards, we're going to go 70 yards. We haven't seen that. They did, do it when they needed to, on and off, but it hasn't been consistent. So I give them a C+. Quarterback, I have written down a C, but I'm going to give him a C-. Reason being, first of all, go by the first 3 games with Joe Flacco, he went 1-2. Albeit that one game was a tremendous comeback. But was it more him winning it or Cleveland losing it? Listen, I'm not going to get to the minor caveats like that. Then you have Zach. Okay, Zach has played 6 weeks. He is 5-1. He is great when he doesn't turn the ball over. Obviously, any quarterback is. And last week, he had one turnover on a strip sack by Von Miller, and the Jets answered right back with an interception by Sauce Gardner. So they bailed him out. But he is 5-1. He is putting up a lot of numbers, putting up a lot of yards. Sometimes it's garbage time. Sometimes it's Fugazi. Um, he is still happy feet sometimes, but I'm hoping that he's starting to turn the corner. That looking at that New England game, he realized he can't be making those pirouettes and everything when he doesn't need to. So he gets a C minus. So overall, the offense gets a C plus. Um, I mean, I could really turn it up and give them a B because without Bryce Hall, but no, C plus. The defense, B. And the reason why I say B is early on in the season, they didn't step up when they needed to step up. They have now become one of the most feared defenses, I'd say, the last 5 or 6 weeks. They're really gelling. They're really coming to their own. Um, a quick little stat: they have the most pressures on the least amounts of blitz. In years past, if you followed this team, they were blitz happy to get to the quarterback. They don't need to anymore. Their front line, those dogs up there are getting there. They call themselves dogs. They're getting there. They're making the pressure on the quarterback, which then eases the tension on the linebackers, which then eases even more tension on the defensive backs and the secondary. So I give the defense a B. Right now, this defense is only going to grow more and gel more, and I can only hope that they can get to really, take off. But right now, I have a lot of confidence in this defense. Special teams, I'm going to give a C plus. Special teams has been up and down. Early in the season, some missed opportunities, some bad punts, then some, tremendous punts. And it started with that Miami game when they got the ball within the two, and then the sack, safety, and the knockout of Teddy Bridgewater on the first play of the offensive the defensive side of the ball. So I I think the defense is coming to its own. I think the special teams, like the defense early on, was not clicking. They're starting to come around. What kind of worries me is our kickoffs twice. Our kickoff, our kicker fell on kickoffs. Um, I actually thought it was by design last week. I just missed it. I saw the ball bouncing around like an onside kick, but it turned out that he slipped. But the special teams, we are going to need now. We're in the second half. We're in where the weather is going to get colder. The ball is going to not travel as much in the air. So we need special teams to be on. Coaching. 7 weeks ago, I would have gave this coaching staff a D to an F. Then for the coach to come out and say, cashing in receipts, I just thought it was another, here we go again, a coach, talking and with nothing to back it up. Then you have the blow up on the sidelines. Um, and he just said, they're just going to implode. And all right, so Rob Sala had 2 years, and who's up next? And we go after a veteran, and I'm even thinking, veteran QB next year or whatever. And that could still happen. But the way this coaching staff has come together um, has been amazing. Sala has been believing in him. He has been playing for him. The youngsters, these early draft picks, and these rookies are believing in his system. LaFleur, the offensive coordinator, I'm just hoping he continues to put a game plan together that uses Zach's strengths along with the rest of the team's and their offensive strengths. These intricate design plays right now are not in Zach's wheelhouse. Last week, quick slants, passes out of the backfield, and then yes, if you have to make that play, you make that play. And there was a great pass to Mims when the Jets needed it was 3rd and 6, and he got it to Mims to get a 1st and goal, which I know didn't set up a touchdown, but it set up a field goal, but it allowed us to use the clock to get the clock dwindled down, and for Buffalo to use their timeouts. So um, I give them a B minus. Um, and if they can get to an A, that just means the success of this team is going to be ridiculous this year. So those are my grades overall. Overall, for the team itself, a B minus. I'm not going to give them a C. You're 6-3. You're in second place in the AFC East. If the AFC East, I'm sorry, if the season ended today, the entire AFC East would be playing ball in the postseason. Ridiculous. Um, so that is our midterm report. That is my report card. We're hoping to get Corey Davis back for Sunday. We have 2 full weeks to prepare. I know Zach went home to, I think to visit his family. A couple of players got engaged. I think it was DJ Reed and Rookert got engaged on the bye. But I know the coaching staff was probably watching film, whether they were in Florham Park or they were away from the facility. But if I know the coaching staff, they usually probably take that Monday and then they work the rest of the time during the bye. They really don't take that time off. It's more of for the players to unwind and to condition and to heal. So hopefully we come back as healthy as possible. Um, I had us at, I want to say 8-9 and 9-8. I have to look at my predictions at the beginning of the season. We are at 6-3 right now. I don't want to look ahead. I don't want to look past this upcoming game because this upcoming game, to me, can set the tone for December and January. That's how big it is. Um, you know, and right now things just are falling the right way, um, and we have to see what happens. But if the way the team has played since week 4 isn't any indication on how they could play, with the exception of one game or so, this team could really be exciting to watch, um, and and a lot of fun to watch. So that's it. I ask you to like this video, like um, the post on Twitter. We are at the Takeoff is our Twitter handle. I'm sorry, at the Jets Takeoff is our Twitter handle. We are on Facebook. The Takeoff is the Facebook page. You can reach us on email at thejets_takeoff@gmail.com. And of course, subscribe to this video, like this video, give us comments. Were you at the Buffalo game? Were you away at any of the games? Are you going to any of the future away games? Are you going to be there Sunday when they're away? Let us know. Let us know how you feel. What is your thoughts on this coaching staff? What are your thoughts on what this team could do with 8 games left? So check us out. If you have questions, I'll read the questions on the video. But subscribe to this video, like it. It is on Google. I'm sorry, it's on YouTube. The Takeoff, the channel handle is at the Jets Takeoff, um, and that's it. So you can also Google it at Alex Parziali. Have a great rest of your week. Enjoy tonight's game if you're going to watch it. Did the Eagles go 9-0? Did the Commanders, make a tremendous upset? Um, the Commanders have enough for an upset. Um, you know, that's that's why they play the game. Nobody gave us a chance last week. 13-point underdog to start the week after losing to New England, went down to 11.5, and the Jets won by 3. So anything can happen. Have a great rest of your week. Have a safe week. Have a healthy week. Have a blessed week, however you say it. Check us out, and I'll talk to you either Thursday during the Thursday night game or Friday with the predictions and the preview of our upcoming game. Thanks.